we got our next speaker coming up, and he is Mr. Dave Matthew. After completing his MBA in finance and marketing from the School of Management and at University campus, he pursued his post graduation in financial management from St. Joseph's College of Commerce and a master's in training and management consultant. He's also the founding member of the Pit Stop Christian Music Concert. I believe that's pronounced Shania, but he can correct me when he comes on. He has been a coordinator with Samaritan's Purse International and Gospel Mission of India. He's now a management consultant for a painting and interior designing firm and also works as an asset vice president, business analyst in the technology division of a multinational financial bank. He's married to Vinkyu Varghese, and they are blessed with two kids. Mr. Matthews, you may want to correct the pronunciation of your wife's name, but I hand the floor over to you. Thank you very much. You may go ahead.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much, sister Jennifer. I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you're right. My wife's name is Sister Rinko Saravallis. Thank you once again. Good morning, good evening to one and all, from whichever part of the world you're joining in now. I deem this a privilege and honor bestowed on me by the grace of God to deliver what God has enlightened in my heart to share and present in this forum of entrepreneurs and business professionals. At the onset, I would like to thank Reverend Abraham Verghese, my pastor, a remarkable person who spiritually mentored many great leaders. I'm honored to be one among them, and I also thank Pastor A.B. Titus for his love, warmth, and kindness. I would like to place into record my gratitude to His Excellency Ambassador Andre Thomas for his vision and anointing. Cognizant of the time, let me delve into what God has laid into my heart to share this evening in alignment with the theme we've chosen: greater impact, success, and financial dominion. The mandate I have here is to talk about from a business perspective and how we can actually sharpen our business acumen to be what God has placed in the industry. We live in one of the most unprecedented times of the century. The definition of the word uncertainty has probably taken new heights. I believe it dates back to what's written in the Bible, like how Mordecai told Queen Esther, it is probably for a time such as this that God has placed us in various positions in different capacities in the marketplace. So let us rise up to the occasion and fulfill God's purpose, what's for us. God expects us to be productive. The productivity, fruitfulness, multiplication attributes which God expects in the natural course, and we see it throughout the Bible. Now, I'm going to be taking you through a set of principles in the business world, what we could apply for, and we can look at how we can actually adapt these in our journey to success. The first principle, what I really would like to place emphasis on, is when you really need to be successful and impactful in the business community, you need to be customer obsessive. I know Dr. Andre Thomas really touched upon a lot of points which I am going to be sharing, but let's get into details. God has made every individual unique. Wants, desires, personalities, and traits of every individual person is different. Now, one size fits all, the universal theory does not apply when it comes to customer service. I know what you're thinking about. Let me tell you, you're thinking you're not going to be getting the extra buck by doing or going the extra mile in servicing the customers, in delighting them. But can I tell you, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be having a long-term investment in retaining your customers, in establishing your brand. And that is going to be a USP in power with your competitors. Think about it this. How would you expect a vendor or a supplier to treat yourself? How about him treating you with customer delight? He pampers you and he ensures that he gives the best service. Think about doing the same thing with your clients. So, whatever you wish, I just take this quotation from Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, which says, so, whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Let me take some industry examples and keep it so that we could take cues from that. Amazon. Amazon's number one leadership principle is customer obsession. Oh, no wonder Jeff Bezos takes the prime spot in the wealthiest and the successful list of entrepreneurs. Let's take cues from what Amazon really did to have the customer obsession. Probably we could implement in our business as well. First thing is accumulate data and comprehend precisely what customer wants and what they need. Now I need to tell you this. Data in today's world is the need of the hour. Data is the fuel which really runs your business. You will have to research and get as much as data in understanding the needs of your customers and satisfy what they need. Let's not do or get into things which probably does not really is required by the customer. The second attribute is rigorously ask for customer feedback. Be brutal with expecting feedback from your customers. Get as much as feedback. Leverage the data which you get in terms of feedback and change your course of action. And the third attribute I would like to place is wow your customers. Try to delight your customers. And I would like to take a famous case study. Most of them would have known about this particular case study of Southwest Airlines on how they deal with customer delight. When a frequent flyer books a ticket and gets to the counter in Southwest Airlines, he's given a similar seat based on what his past preferences are. And furthermore, they go the extra mile. Once that same customer gets into the aircraft, okay, the flight attendant comes to that particular individual and asks, "Sir, these are the set of menu which you had last time. Would you want me to repeat the same, or do you want something different?" See, this is something which the client is not even expecting. Your customer is not even expecting this kind of a service. And what makes him is wow. Even before the customer can think, you're probably giving him with the set of options. Again, data is pivotal here. Data works here, and they crunch data to customize the needs of the customers. The fourth important thing which I would like to take you through is sell products and services that exceed customer expectation. Be passionate about your products and services. And this is predominantly where the spirit of excellency comes into practice. And I think Dr. Andre Thomas emphasized in detail in terms of how you can actually get into the spirit of excellency. Your products and services should be beyond what the customer expects. Go beyond your competitors in delivering and adding value to your customers in the products and services which you deliver. The fifth attribute is get rid of the steps that do not add value in your process. Cut the lean. Reduce the steps which delay the process of completion. Let me tell you, value your client's time, and I'll assure you they'll be happy and they'll get back to you for more. The last but not the least, which I would like to take you through in the set of customer obsession, is this. Always treat your customer as the number one priority. Now, I would like to just get into details of this particular point because most of the time, what happens is people tend to do the inverse. They would like to prioritize their vendors because they get comfortable with their vendors. They get comfortable with their suppliers. They deal with them day to day, and they feel that their vendors and suppliers are of utmost priority, and they sometimes give the clients and the customers a backseat. Today, let me tell you, why don't we reverse that? Bargain with your suppliers. You need to understand that for your supplier, you are a customer, you are a client. Bargain with your suppliers, get the best price, and deliver and pass the benefit of the price surplus, or price spread to your customers. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you is we were talking about these attributes. Now, customer awareness and customer obsession is something which is a day-to-day affair. It has to be consistent. It shouldn't be like, okay, you started the first day and the second day you're like, oh, okay, it's just a normal. No, it has to be consistent because your ultimate goal is to retain your customers. Can I tell you something? There is no better marketing strategy than word of mouth. I'll put it across with an example. Suppose I tell my friend, you know what, this particular product or service is the best. There is indeed a very high chance of him opting that particular product or service more than all the flyers put together, all the social media campaigns combined. You have a new customer there. You not only retain, you try to bring in a new customer by getting into the journey of customer obsession. This reminds me of the Bible verse and the scripture which says, what God has entrusted with you, if you be diligent, there'll be more added unto you. Let's get to the next attribute which I would like to place. The first thing which I wanted to say was be customer obsessive. The second attribute I'd like to place on record is be adaptive to change. See, as humans, we prefer things surrounding us to be unchanged. We're comfortable with what we have. We would like to go with the flow. We'd like to go with what we are comfortable and what we know. But the truth and the fact is that change is inevitable. If we think that we'll go with what we have and I'll be just like how I want to be, we will be only in fantasy and we will never grow. The truth and the fact is change is inevitable, and you don't try to resist change, you do not prevent change, but we learn to cope up with change. We learn to cope up with change. Why is change so inevitable? Every year we have new entrepreneurs getting into the industry. We have new ideas, we have new inventions. The number of patents are growing every single day. And above all, as clients, we need something different, which eases our way of doing things, and because of which change is inevitable. This pandemic has taught us very well how to cope up with change, and has forced us to do those things which are even uncomfortable, wearing the mask, embracing technology. We don't like them, we still need to do them. The faster we change based on the surrounding, the greater the opportunity for growth is. I'd like to take some examples from the industry. In India, we have a company called Wildcraft, which deals with manufacturing of masks at this point in time. But previously, they were dealing with manufacturing bags and raincoats, jerkins, etc. When the pandemic started, they immediately had a shift in the manufacturing activity and they got into manufacturing masks, and that went like wildfire. Let's take an example, Zoom, which came up with customized pricing and features. There were a lot of players. There was Skype, there was Google Meet, there was Teams, and Zoom was fast in the industry. They started getting with change immediately. They were able to get the lion's share of the market. Realize, reposition, and rewire your brain psychologically that change is good and change means possibility to improve. One of the most major impediment in our path to embrace change is the fear of failure. We feel that, when we embrace change, there's a high possibility that we would fail. And the stress which comes with that in terms of getting into a new learning curve. Ability to cope with fear and stress which change brings by maintaining the sense of purpose will help us explore new opportunities. I'd like to just take an example from the life of Jonah. In the later part of the story, we know that he was trying to run away from God's purpose. And when the storm arises as he's in the boat, Jonah gets back to the cabin for rest. It is when his co-passengers question him and ask him, hey, what is it that you have done? And he just replies, you know what? I am the problem. He tries to face it. He could have just given some simple lie, but he says, you know what? I am the problem. And he gives a solution. He says, you know what? Put me out of the boat. Just throw me in the ocean. He knew what he's asking for is something which is going to be dangerous. It's risky, but he still did it. And we know what the end was. Understanding the larger picture in change is important. Today, as we go back, can I tell you this? Take, let's take this takeaway. Change is scary. Change is scary and stressful. But understand they carry the seeds of growth and good fortune. Let's get to the next attribute. First, we were talking about customer obsession. Next, we were talking about change. And the third attribute I would like to take you through is networking. Connect with other people. We need to understand man is a social being. And you know, in the present age, with the social media boom around us, we cannot run in silos. In the scripture, it says very clearly, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, one will lift up another. It is important to gain trust and assistance from others. And I would like to take some cues from the industry as well for this particular point. We know how Android was when it came in the market. At that point in time, Nokia mobile phones were leading with the Symbian operating system. Android did something different. Android said it was open to all the cell phone manufacturers, and the application development was open to everyone in the industry, and thereby they were just breaking monopoly. In fact, if you look at how Google is growing leaps and bounds as a business itself, is by sharing and taking your own information and giving it to others, all leveraging artificial intelligence. Can I say prayerfully connect with people? I like the words of Reverend Abraham Verghese. There's a beautiful sermon about connecting with your destiny helpers. They can be very helpful in connecting you with some of the major projects which God has in store for you. So networking is important. Now I need to tell this. Most of us kind of take this that by doing networking, we would get a lead, we would get a client contact. Let me just get another customer. No, 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 no. Let's think about it differently. Networking is something where you first serve and then to be served. Help others to gain their trust. Utilize your network to gain feedback and work on them genuinely. Mentor or groom individuals who are struggling. Have a trustable mentor who can give you genuine feedback and assistance. That'll help you grow. Networking is pivotal, but it's a win-win transaction. You'll have to look at it as not just getting. It's something where you give and then you grow together. Synergize. Respect every individual in your network. Never belittle humble beginnings. You may never know, tables may turn any day. Fourth attribute, which I would like to take you through, is spend your time wisely. This is an important phenomenon in the business world. You could attribute time with money, you can attribute time with energy, you can attribute time with opportunity. But the scripture says this in Ephesians 5:15, make the best use of the time because the days are evil. You know what? Time is one element which God has placed across the board to every single individual. It's universal. The person in the palace has the same 24 hours, 365 days, 7 days a week. I have the same time frame. The person who's a homeless person who's in the streets probably also has the same time. It's how you utilize that time which God has given you. One key lesson I've learned as an entrepreneur and a business professional is that you focus on what you grow, and that grows. What you neglect, that dies. Let me explain it in simple terms. If you sow a seed or a sapling, and when you have your complete focus given to it by giving the right exposure of sunlight, nurturing it with the right level of fertilizers, consistently watering it, growth happens. It becomes a big tree, it starts giving fruits. If you have a seed which is neglected, there's a high possibility that it goes one away. It just dies off. So the question I have for business people who are listening to me is, where are you focusing your time? You could be busy through the day. Trust me, you could be busy through the day and be unpurposeful and unproductive. Let's be effective in our utilization of time. I would like to stress the power of delegation here in the event of time management. Don't try to do everything by yourself. Delegate it to others. Poor time management will hinder your business growth. I would like to just leave with one one activity or a principle in the time management scheme of things, which I was sharing with my friends. I was grooming them and I was just telling them, I used to do this and probably you can try this. You could have your day split up into four quadrants of 6 hours each. And the first quadrant of 6 hours, have it allocated for productive and the most growth oriented task. Learn a new skill. Have time with your mentors. Read a book. Spend time on audiobooks, prayer time, exercising, brainstorm for new ideas. Your first quadrant of 6 hours, let it be growth oriented. The second quadrant of 6 hours is where you implement and execute projects. That's your earning time. That's where you work. Those are the time, that is the quadrant which you have set for work related tasks. The third quadrant of 6 hours, give time for your family, for your maintenance, your personal hygiene, social setup. Call up a friend whom you haven't met for quite some time. Have a conversation with an extended family member. And the last sixth quadrant, spend time for relaxing. Get a good night's sleep of minimum of at least 6 hours. So I hope this will help set up individuals to focus your time into what is productive and what really moves the needle. The last thing I would want to keep in record is impose boundaries, structures, and plans around yourself. You know what? As kids, we had a set of rules which we were governed with. Parents used to say, you need to do this, you shouldn't be doing this. Because of those, we were we were guided appropriately, and most of them are our habits now. As people who are grown up, we probably don't have the set of principles, plans, and structures around us. It's good to have a set of principles, plan, and structure. Planning and budgeting is pivotal in your business. Plan your calendar, plan well ahead in terms of what you're going to be doing, plan your finances. Luke 14:28 says, which, which of you wishing to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost to see if he has the resource to comply to it? It stresses the importance of planning and budgeting. Prayerfully check out and work on your plans. Finally, I'd like to echo two main things. I've gone through the five major principles I wanted to present to you this evening, but I wanted to just leave you with two things as conclusion. Echoing the words of Jack Welch, you either be the first in business or second, or get out of the business. I don't recommend you doing this physically, but it's important to have this mindset of doing things the best. And this is predominantly what Dr. Andre Thomas was also mentioning in terms of having a spirit of excellence in whatever you're doing. Gear yourself to be in the top tier. Don't settle for mediocrity. The choice is yours. Second thing, understand that you are an ambassador of Christ in the marketplace. Ensure you uphold biblical values. You are a reflection of your creator. Your interactions should be a gateway to bring to have that power to build people inside God's kingdom, to bring in new people into God's kingdom. I hope these things will really make a great change. Once again, with these passing comments, I would like to thank the then leadership for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and thank you for patiently listening to this set of principles what I had to present to. God bless you all. Over to Sister Jennifer.